All right, so the first move you can make at this income range is the backdoor Roth IRA. You might have heard this if you make more than $150K per year, but at $153,000 in income, if you're a single filer, you can no longer make a full contribution to the Roth IRA, and past $168K, you can't contribute to one anymore. To fix this, many high earners opt for what's called a backdoor Roth IRA, and that works in 2 steps. First, you contribute to a traditional IRA since there's no income limit for it, and most importantly, you don't invest the money. And then all you have to do within your brokerage account is click the button, convert it to a Roth. The only times where this gets a little bit tricky is if you already have an existing traditional IRA with funds invested. At that point, you would have traditional IRA funds as well as Roth IRA funds, and so you need to be careful and avoid what's called the pro rata rule. I'll leave a link on a resource on how to do the backdoor Roth IRA as well as mistakes to avoid in the description below. If you're able to do this successfully though, it's one way to really shelter your income from your overall tax burden. Another type of backdoor Roth IRA is what's called the mega backdoor Roth. This is something that companies will actually allow you to take advantage of, namely big tech companies like Google, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon, to name a few. I'm gonna leave a full list of all the companies offering a mega backdoor Roth in the description below, so you can check that out after this. So here's how it works. In the mega backdoor Roth, you can actually contribute beyond the normal contribution limit of $24,500 per year. So first you would contribute that amount, the 24.5K, into your normal 401k. And then Amazon, for example, they set up their own after-tax account for you, which is a perk that you get for working there. This allows you to contribute 42.5K more dollars to an after-tax account. And then from there, you do an in-plan conversion to a Roth. That's pretty crazy now, because if you're someone who has access to this, you are contributing up to $67,000 of your own money per year into this account. And this is gonna really help you generate that wealth over time. I am pretty jealous. I don't have access to this, but if you do, you definitely should take advantage. The second move you need to consider at this income range is just simply diversifying your portfolio. There is a high earners playbook from the Henry Finance Reddit, and I will link this also down below in the description, but they suggest having 80 to 100% in equities under the age of 50, with a small allocation of 5 to 10% in alternatives like precious metals or crypto if you're comfortable with that. After you're 50, you want to adjust downward to 70% or 60% in equities to reduce volatility and preserve capital. For additional diversification, you can even consider adding in international ETFs, which have been performing pretty well as of recent. I think this recommendation from this guide is pretty spot on. I've shared on this channel before that the younger you are, the more risks that you can take because you're in this phase of generating wealth. But the older that you get, the more that you want to actually start protecting that wealth. The third move at this income range pertains to you, especially if you have what's called RSUs. RSU stands for restricted stock units, and if you work for a company that offers you RSUs, it's a really great benefit because not only is it stock, but it probably incentivizes you to stay at that company longer. A huge percentage of people earning 150 to 200K or more get there through an equity package like RSUs from a tech company or stock-based compensation from a public company. Now here's the thing about RSUs in particular. RSUs are taxed as ordinary income when they vest, whether you sell them or not. So that means the IRS will treat it like a cash salary. So say you have 100 shares vest when your company stock trades at $200. That's $20,000 of W-2 income whether you touch the shares or not. So the move is just to have a strategy for this, and the default is for a lot of people to sell the RSUs as they vest and redeploy the money into a diversified portfolio. If you hold the RSUs and the share price increases, then you will owe capital gains when you sell the stock, in addition to the tax that you already owed when they vested. The guide on Reddit actually talks about this as well, and they want you to diversify if you have more than 1/3 of your total investments allocated in your company's RSUs. As a general statement, that's usually correct in order to avoid being too concentrated, so that's also something to consider. And the last move to consider at this income range is what your tax bracket will be when you retire. For most people at this income, the answer is that your tax bracket is lower in retirement than what it is right now. With your current tax rate being between 24 to 35% or more, if you think in retirement it's going to be lower, then your traditional 401k contributions should be prioritized. Maxing a traditional 401k at $24,500 saves you roughly 8 to 9.5K in taxes this year at your marginal tax rate. And then when you retire, if your tax rate is closer to 0, then you are winning on both ends. So if you have a pre-tax 401k plus a backdoor Roth, that's actually a great combo because you're deferring taxes when your rates are the highest right now. You're also gonna get that money tax-free from the Roth IRA, and that's gonna be really nice when you retire. Having both of these should save you a ton of money throughout your high earning years, and I hope that you maybe employ some of these strategies.